Hello, and welcome to MoviePod, a Reclaimed Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Brian Wishart. This week we're talking about a film from 2008 that was called headache-inducing and has a lot of interesting visual elements that are very kinetic and in your face and very off-putting to some, including myself when I first saw this movie. We're talking about 2008's Speed Racer by the Wachowskis, and people, of course, love the Matrix movie universally, but the other movies by the Wachowskis are kind of less regarded for various reasons. Speed Racer is one of the ones where people have really kind of always kind of had their shooters and say, like, this is a true movie that speaks to some specific sensibilities, and there's no movie like Speed Racer, and I totally agree that there's nothing else like this film. I'm joined again to the podcast to discuss one of her favorite filmmakers, Wachowskis. Bring back Maeve. How's it going, Maeve?
Seeing this movie in a packed crowd that was just going nuts for it, honestly, I found it healing in so many ways, and I am still kind of on a high that I don't think can be replicated, except for the fact that the indie theater that I love going to is going to be screening it in about a week and a half. So I'm going to see it in a theater again, and this time I won't have to deal with a fucking, like, suburban Kansas AMC to do it, so...
Yeah, so we're doing this episode kind of pretty quickly because Speed Racer had an IMAX limited engagement last night. It was like a one-night only thing in IMAX as they're playing Speed Racer. And I haven't seen Speed Racer in like a decade myself, and I was a person that I saw this movie like when it came out, didn't like it. Saw it a decade ago, didn't like it. Saw it in a packed IMAX theater last night, loved it. It truly works so well on the big screen, where you just have to lock in with it with no distractions. And I think that's the best way to do it, because like it's kind of on purpose. This movie is trying to buck a lot of visual trends and how movies are made and visualized. So if you don't really lock into what this movie is trying to do, it's very off-putting. But if you are with a crowd in a dark theater that all is there to see a Wachowski movie as a retrospective screening, you're going to be kind of a bit more locked in. And I absolutely loved every second of it this time around.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did. Like, this is a movie that means so much to me. It's like this and When Harry Met Sally are kind of like in a constant battle for the title of my favorite film ever made. And I feel like Speed Racer is basically number one with a bullet. Like, it's one I always come back to. Like, I love basically every movie the Wachowskis have made, and I think they're all basically 5-star masterpieces, even the ones people don't like. Yes, that includes Jupiter Ascending, and double yes, that includes Matrix Resurrections.
I love Matrix
People
Resurrections.
Who hate that movie hate fun. But
they lack soul, they lack romance.
Yeah, but back to Speed Racer, like, this is a movie I've seen countless times, and it's nice that there is, like, this restoration and a new disc coming out, because Speed Racer was kind of like an odd duck in that the movie was finished at 1080p HD, because I guess even in the late 2000s, digital cameras could still only do so much. So the fact that a 4K restoration and re-release is happening in itself is kind of crazy. But I think part of that is just that WB just kind of, I guess, has seen how steady this movie has had legs over time. Like, I guess people are still buying the disc, which is crazy because Speed Racer does not exactly have the best Blu-ray in the world. Like, visually it's very nice and clear, but the audio on the disc is kind of fucked. And it was weird watching it in the theater, being like, oh yeah, I don't have to turn the volume up to twice as much on my TV as I normally do to get every bit of dialogue. And if it seems like I'm just kind of babbling, it's because, like, every time I think about this movie, I'm just overwhelmed and full of glee, and no matter how I try to organize my thoughts about it, I end up just, like, basically turning into, like, a 10-year-old describing the cool movie that she saw.
And that's the cool thing with Speed Racer is it truly does feel like a movie that like it's a Saturday morning cartoon come to life.
Yeah, it's like I had kind of described the movie in the past as being like sort of like an attempted natural evolution of what the Star Wars prequels were doing with digital filmmaking, you know? Because the cinematographer is David Tattersall, who was the cinematographer of the Star Wars prequels, and it had a very similar heavy blue screen style, but it was pushing it a bit, going more avant-garde with, I believe, the Wachowski's sentiment for doing this kind of visual style and editing style was an attempt to push the boundary, but they did it with a children's film because they figured that children's minds are more malleable, they're more open and accepting to new things, new ways of doing things. And of course, this was their first movie post-Matrix, so everyone was very kind of curious what was going on, because I feel like time has been very kind to the Matrix sequels, Reloaded and Revolutions.
Oh, yeah.
Partially because those movies rock. Like, honestly, like, as much as every Matrix movie is, like, a 5 out of 5 masterwork for me, like, I think Matrix Reloaded may just straight up be my favorite of all of them. And I have actually yapped about Reloaded a couple years ago on a different podcast called Franchisography that I still stand by and will recommend people listen to if they want to hear me, like, go crazy about how the Burly Brawl is basically the best scene of all time. But we get to Speed Racer and it's pushing everything so crazy. It's so colorful. Honestly, like, the other thing that kind of came to my mind last night in the theater while watching it is, honestly, it's kind of Spy Kids coded, you know, Robert Rodriguez's Spy.
I was thinking Spy Kids a lot while watching this movie. Like, just the way that, like, especially because you have, like, the little brother there who is, like, the similar age to the boy in Spy Kids. And just, like, the way, especially the fact that this has a monkey in it, too, feels very Spy Kids coded. Like, it just feels like a movie targeted towards 12-year-old boys.
Yeah, it's like, I was the right age. Me and my sister were the right age for the Spy Kids movies. We went nuts for those. I think when Spy Kids 3D came out, me and my sister, like, literally woke up our parents every day screaming about seeing it until they actually took us to see it. Yeah,
that's cute.
Because we were just so into it, and that was the first time either of us had heard of 3D, and we thought it was the coolest thing in the world.
And, like, Robert Rodriguez is a very visual guy, too. Like, he is also trying to... They're movies that are made by... Both Speed Racer and Spy Kids are movies made by a director with a visual... some visual ambition. And I don't think every Rodriguez movie is a visual ambition, but those Spy Kids movies
because, like,
do.
Robert Rodriguez has made movies I love, but he's a very different filmmaker with very different aims. Like, the Wachowskis are, like, from an academic Chicago family who... really get into the weeds of talking and analyzing film, and
like, they love philosophy, they love going to art galleries, they love just reading about how art is made.
And they also, like, love, like, manga and comic books and nerd shit, but they come at it come at it with, like, a very different way of thinking than other people who love nerd shit, even other filmmakers who love nerd shit. And they're also way more ambitious with their works. And it's like, as much as I like to love a lot of Robert Rodriguez movies, he has much more simpler aims. I think I'll say it. Like, he shoots basically everything in his garage in Austin, Texas. He kind of had, like, a scrappy, like, way of clawing his way into the film world, and he got, you know, eaten up by the Weinstein Company. He was making a lot of stuff for, like, Miramax and that kind of thing. And he is still working and making stuff, but the last movie I saw of his is actually my favorite movie of his, Alita Battle Angel, which that movie's
fun.
That movie kind of hits me at the same level Speed Racer does in a few different ways, but I'll save that for when I hold you at gunpoint to talk about it on the podcast.
But, like, there's the sport they have in Alita Battle Angel.
Oh yeah, Motorball is so thing. Speed Racer. Like,
yeah, And it's kind of like, you can kind of compare them because these are both clearly based off animes, and even the roller what's it called again? A murder ball?
Rollerball.
Not murder ball.
No, not
rollerball.
No, rollerball is the movie.
Rollerball is the movie. Yeah, whatever it's called in Alita Battle Angel. Like, they're clearly, the way they're even shot is very anime influenced, but I think the way Speed Racer does, the Speed Racer is such a maximalist style the entire time that you can absolutely tell the anime influences from
it's
right from the
Motorball.
start. Motorball, yes, yeah. And I think what's interesting with Wachowskis is because, especially with The Matrix, it's so clear that they're taking all their influences, like all this anime influence, plus their interest in philosophy, and all blending it together into one. I don't think Rodriguez has that similar interest or as deep of an interest into philosophy, so you don't really get that. When he's adapting something, you're not going to get something like that from the page to the screen, or from like a TV show to the screen. And I've never really paid attention to Speed Racer as a.
Don't
anime.
worry, neither have I. The time where that cartoon was like getting reruns on like Cartoon Network and Boomerang or whatever completely passed me by. The first time I had heard of Speed Racer was when the movie came out.
For me, my exposure to Speed Racer. So, when I was growing up, there's this place in London, Ontario called Mr. Chuckles, which is a kind of a knockoff Chuck E. Cheese. It was like at a strip mall, and Mr. Chuckles was a kind of a purple dinosaur. Didn't look more like too much, almost like a Godzilla kind of dinosaur, but very, very dark purple. So you wouldn't really confuse it with Barney the dinosaur. And people would always have their birthday parties there. Basically, like a little play place where they have like arcade machines, like kind of like a giant slide, like games, pizza, snacks, kind of thing. And they had the Speed Racer arcade game there, so you would have the Speed Racer theme song playing nonstop when you're just visiting there. And I remember the arcade game actually being pretty fun, but like that was my main exposure to Speed Racer, was just this one arcade game. And I don't think I ever saw Speed Racer just be on TV. So I knew the characters, their designs, just from this arcade game. So like, it's not like I came into watching the Speed Racer movie when it came out. Like, I didn't see it in the theaters. I saw it on TV on the Movie Network when it came out, and I didn't have any reverence towards these characters at all. And my take on it when I saw it first, when I saw it in 2008, when I saw it I probably saw it then again 2018, is that I found it. I truly was one of those people that found it kind of headache-inducing and hard to watch.
And look, I get it. Like, honestly, it took me a few viewings to sort of like lock into what it was doing, because I knew, like, fairly early on in me getting into movies that I had a very different, like, sort of attunement to the Wachowskis than a lot of people had, because, like, back then, and there are still people who think like this, but that has kind of, like, I guess, lessened as the years have gone on. People who are like, oh yeah, they made The Matrix and then they made nothing good after that. And I saw The Matrix for the first time, and that was like a very eye-opening thing. I actually have a really funny story about the first time I saw The Matrix. Like, want to know where I first saw it? Where? I saw it on a car DVD player on my way to a college football bowl game.
As the Wachowskis intended.
Yeah, the Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana, where the University of Louisiana Monroe, and to date their only bowl game appearance, got absolutely shelled by Ohio University on a cold, miserable, rainy, wet day. And we got Applebee's after. It was a good time.
Yep.
But yeah, I was so obsessed with The Matrix for a good while, and that sort of like made me go, well, I love this movie, and I think in the same way that I loved a lot of M. Night Shyamalan movies, and kind of went, people hate this dude? Like, what's going on here? I sort of investigated the Wachowskis more, and what I came away with thinking was, I love these guys. Well, girls now. Mm-hmm. But
yeah. And they fixed that for the
oh yeah, I noticed it. Like, I saw that, and I was already like on cloud nine, but I saw that, and like my first message to one of my friend groups was, guys, they changed their name in the credits, and which they apparently didn't do with the Matrix 4K restos, which I hear is due to some sort of like legal legalese, like complex contract reason as to why it couldn't happen there.
Which sucks so much. Just like get the names right, like especially something like The Matrix, which is clearly a trans work of art. Like it feels so off. I'm really glad that for Speed Racer, this re-release, they were able to fix it.
And that's not even the only crazy thing, because Lana and Lily like actually did a sort of retrospective special feature for the new 4K release talking about the movie together, and that is crazy because they had a falling out like a couple years ago, and I think this is the first time they've had a public appearance, because they were already pretty notoriously private people, and this is the first time I think any word of them being in the same room and like truly having a conversation has happened since the late 2010s.
Yeah, it wasn't like season 1 of Sense8 the last time they
Yeah,
really
because
did anything together.
Lily had to come out like not of her own volition because the Daily Mail threatened to leak it.
Fuck the Daily Mail.
And then she just completely stepped away. Like, she stepped away from Sense8, she stepped away from public life, and then there was word that the Wachowskis like had closed their production company and facility in Chicago, and that they'd had a falling out, which, you know, sucked. And then when Lily, then they had like did some separate work. Like Lana wrapped up Sense8 on her own, and then made Matrix Resurrections, and Lily did some work primarily in the Chicago comedy scene. Like, she did a Showtime series set in the Chicago comedy world called Work in Progress that I haven't seen but heard good things about. Lily has also been attached to produce a few projects, and at one point she got attached to direct a movie that's kind of like an autobiography of the comedian Caleb Heron that I haven't heard much progress about. But it is kind of curious seeing what they've done apart, and obviously if they don't want to do any more work together, then I'm not going to force them to, but seeing them in the same room for that special feature, like, it did give me hope, because...
Yeah, I would love to see them make another
especially
movie together.
Because...
Or even just make another movie at all, because it's been a while since... there's a long gap between Jupiter Ascending and the Matrix, the fourth Matrix movie.
Yeah, and part of that was that they went into the Sense8 realm, and part of that was their falling out. And...
Yeah.
It's very curious because they've basically only worked with one studio their entire careers, Warner Brothers. And Warner has been, like, very willing to give them money time after time. Like, even through different, like, at various administrations within Warner Brothers, like, they're every once in a while they just go back to the Wachowskis and are like, hey, what are y'all cooking now? And
like Speed Racer didn't make much money. Like, I'm looking it up right now. So it cost $120 million. It looks like it cost $120 billion at some points, but it cost $120 million and only made $93 million back. And I was reading that Warner Bros. At the time was not that concerned with that because they thought, like, we have great merchandising for this.
Oh yeah, Speed
like,
Racer was very heavily merchandised. Like, I remember, like, in movie theaters they were giving away, like, a free Speed Racer PC game. And I imagine that was crap, because a lot of that sort of, like, free PC shovelware was crap, you know?
I have a Speed Racer, the Mach 5, the car. I have, like, a McDonald's, like, Happy Meal tie-in toy that I got when this movie came out. Like... They were really merchandised the hell this movie, which I really remember.
Yeah, it's like there were Legos, there were toys,
yeah.
There were candy promotions. Like, honestly, the craziest thing is that the Speed Racer Legos ended up making it into the Lego movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, I have to imagine someone on that team was a big fan of the movie and just said, "I'm sneaking this in there."
Yeah, there's like, especially there's a lot of chase scenes within the Lego movie, and a lot of those are clearly have a lot of Speed Racer influence in them, like the Wachowski Speed Racer especially.
Yeah, and like, I do think that the Lego movie has had like an abject, horrible sort of like mark on pop culture and the way people see it. but that's for another time. But at the same time, like, Speed Racer was kind of fucked by the release schedule because like May 2008 and the summer of 2008 as a whole was sort of a big seismic change in movie going.
Yep.
Like May 2008 starts with the very first Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, Iron Man, which was bigger than anyone expected it to be. It was sort of a surprise hit at the time.
It was a big deal.
Then the next week was Speed Racer, which kind of got eaten up by the fact that Iron Man was becoming like a word of mouth hit. Then the next week, the second Narnia movie comes out, which is a established family franchise that I think some families who are sort of like looking for stuff to take their kids to, I think they saw how weird Speed Racer looked and thought, okay, you know what, maybe we should wait and just go see Narnia. That's nice. They liked the first Narnia movie. And then the week after that was Indiana Jones 4, which...
That was a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's like, I remember at the time, like, Indiana Jones 4 was such a big deal. Like, I was turning 10, which was considered the right age to, like, watch the Indiana Jones movies, so that was, like, a big deal. Like, basically every one of my friend group was talking about it. Every one of my friend group's parents were talking about it. Like, that was a very big deal at the time. And I have actually rewatched Crystal Skull fairly recently, and I think that movie gets too much shit, honestly.
I think it's good. I don't think it holds a candle to the first three, but like it's still like a very fun adventure. And like, of course, it's Spielberg, so there's a lot of interesting little, like, you know, very well directed sequences.
Yeah, and like I also just rewatched his War of the Worlds. And
great movie. I love that movie so much.
Yeah, I am so excited for Disclosure Day,
Same.
which is set to be a Kansas City mentioned classic.
Like, I try to avoid watching trailers unless I can see them in the theater. So I got to see the Disclosure Day trailer in IMAX last night, and like, oh yeah, I'm locked in. I'm excited for this one.
God, got jealous. I got so many crap trailers last night. Like, we had one good trailer during the whole trailer pre-roll, and it was the trailer for David Robert Mitchell's The End of Oak Street. And every other trailer was like the fucking Masters of the Universe trailer.
It looks so bad.
Yeah, man. The trailer for the fucking Nate Bargatze movie played, and that was the second best trailer after End of Oak
That looks
Street.
such like a straight to like TV movie. Looks like such a streaming movie.
Yeah, and like, you know, that movie is unrealistic because there are no Tennessee Titans fans in real life.
Yep. They did show the trailer for the new Hunger Games movie in IMAX. And like,
They did not show that one.
It actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's like I was also the right age for Hunger Games. Like, I was in middle school when those books were popping off. We went to like the actual midnight showing of the first movie, and I haven't kept up with the books. My dad has, oddly enough, and I am planning on kind of rewatching all those, and maybe I'll rewatch the new ones.
Yeah, I just today I dropped an episode on Constantine, which Francis Lawrence.
Dude, Constantine fucking rocks.
It was a fun one to revisit. I'm still not I'm still iffy on it, which you can listen to in the episode about, but like, I think it has its moments. But yeah, it's also like, you know, you can wrap it back to Speed Racer. Is that you know, same thing with Constantine. That movie was like 2005, and people were kind of like, the Matrix movie trilogy had just finished, and people were a lot colder on Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolutions than they were the first one.
People were also like very dismissive of Keanu as an actor for a very long time.
And I remember specifically seeing Constantine in the theater and feeling that fatigue and like just not really, because I think I like Keanu Reeves as an actor. It's just that he's works in very specific wavelengths, and I don't think you can just easily slot him into whatever movie. And after The Matrix, they're trying to just put him into whatever they possibly could, because like, this could be like the next guy. And
yeah, it's like the big comic book complaint about the Constantine movie from like nerds who read comic books or whatever is that Constantine in the comics is like a British bottle blonde guy.
Yep.
And that is not Keanu, but honestly, like, comics are for losers. Don't read them.
Yeah. Watch Speed Racer instead.
Yeah, that's very funny because I actually am reading a manga right now.
Weeb.
in my defense, it's Berserk. So
I do want to read it because I'm a huge Dark Souls fan, and those games are apparently influenced like pretty much solely by Berserk.
Yeah, it's like I am into the 10th volume of Berserk right now, so I've still got a little bit of time before shit really hits the fan.
Yeah. Is it still going?
So I've heard.
As a manga?
Well, actually, yes. The original mangaka passed away tragically, pretty young, but his best friend and his assistants are going to be taking over the series, and they've released some chapters, and I'm excited to get there when I get there. And I honestly find it really heartwarming that there are people in his camp are so still moved and loving of him that they're willing to like take on the impossible task of finishing basically the only thing that guy ever worked on in his life, which was Berserk.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very open to them about his plans for the work. So
there is like a plan in place. It's not just winging it like those Dune sequels that the Sun wrote.
Yeah, speaking of, dude, the Indie Theater is going to be getting a 70mm print of Dune 3. I'm so excited.
Oh, that's so cool.
But anyways, with Speed Racer.
Yeah, so like but like there's like some Keanu fatigue in 2005 with Constantine, but also like if you're the kind of person that loves only the first Matrix movie in 1999, like you saw the two Matrix sequels, and then you're waiting to see what the Wachowskis do next, and it's Speed Racer, and it's such a wildly different movie than the Matrix. Like at least on first glance, I think the similarities between the Matrix and Speed Racer is how they are using all these crazy aesthetics to tell a really sentimental, heartwarming story about like connection and being yourself and being with others. So like there is something that's so similar to the Matrix, which is just like that's just how the Wachowskis operate, which is really touching and nice and refreshing. Because we talked about all like Iron Man comes out the same month, and those MCU movies, like they are, we've got like 1 million of them, and they are homogenized in style and pretty ironically detached as movies. And the one thing you cannot say about any Wachowski movie is that they are ironic.
Yeah, it's like we're apparently getting an Endgame re-release that has a new.
That's
scene
so
added
fucking
in to try
cynical. That's so stupid.
To try and like set up this fucking Avengers Doomsday bullshit. And
I love how Joe Russo. It's always Joe Russo saying the stupid shit. Anthony Russo, like I think he's like gagged in a basement somewhere, but he's saying like we had to release Avengers Endgame in theaters with this new scene. It was critical to the storytelling that we had.
It's like, admit it, you're still fucking pissed off that they re-released Avatar and it made more money than Endgame.
Yeah, it has to make. I looked it up. It has to make something like $140 million in a re-release to catch up with the Avatar.
And like, I don't think that's possible because like people as a culture, like people are not as excited for Marvel as they were back when Endgame was coming out. Like, you will still see pockets that are like calling every new MCU movie the best one since Endgame. Like people were saying that about fucking Thunderbolts, and then 2 months later, as if Thunderbolts didn't happen, they were saying it about that fucking Fantastic Four movie. And granted, like the last MCU movie I saw was fucking Doctor Strange 2, and I have just not been interested in continuing that since. Like even before then, it was starting to feel like homework.
Yeah.
And I think also part of it is, as much as I'm enjoying my like watch throughs of the Joss Whedon shows, Buffy and Angel, I just cannot like look at all these fucking people just sort of like doing like the fourth rung down copies of what Whedon was doing in those Avengers movies he did, and just find any merit in it whatsoever.
Yeah, because it's like, how many levels down in this corporate slot machine are we? Like, you have like you're like the Russos, like sure, like they work well, like they're TV guys, right? So they were TV directors, so they work well like under constraints, but you don't get a lot of their vision popping out. And when you do, it's shit like Electric State, which is unwatchable. And with some like, also like these, the fact that Avengers Doomsday.
Like, have you watched any of their Pizza Film School videos?
No.
It's the worst shit in the fucking world. Like, they got the rapper Kyle, who was in one of their movies, to do a theme song for it, and he like calls them the best ever.
Oh my god!
Which of course, a rapper who doesn't watch many movies, but would say that about the guys who cast him in a movie. But the thing is, like, they're basically like fucking Save the Cat guys. They think they have making a hit movie down to a science. And the funny thing is, they were talking with Josh Brolin, talking about No Country for Old Men, and they're like, oh, the Coens did this because, and they tried to like map what the Coens do onto like their how to make a perfect hit movie thing, and Josh Brolin just had to look at them and say, nah, the Coens don't work like that, guys.
Yeah. But like when it comes to like the workflow, like just the MCU is just like, you know what you're going to get because you don't really get directors, you don't really see them pop off with a movie. You don't really see their influence really on the screen that much. Like it's
like McDonald's, but the quality of the McDonald's is like getting worse and worse. It's not like the McDonald's that is slightly better than the other ones.
Yeah, it's like they're using cheaper ingredients just to like, and like, hey, we're bringing back the McRib, and the McRib is, you know, the X-Men are coming back. But with the like Speed Racer, I think the same thing like with Constantine last week as well as Speed Racer this week is that because we live in a culture where you have just the MCU be so dominant and all these various like Constantine's a cynical movie as well, but also like it is not.
It's a movie about a cynical character trying to find his reason to not be cynical.
Yeah, which is refreshing, and Speed Racer itself is refreshing because it feels like a human being made this, and it's crazy because like I saw this
honestly. I am not the first person to say this, but Speed Racer very much feels like a movie about like trying to like be an artist in a very business-centered world, except, you know, it's about racing because you can like put art on top of a sports metaphor and it works, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like let's talk about the movie let's get into the movie a little bit, and like, yeah, because it is like, you know, it's based off the anime, and I love the fact that like they keep all the names over. They don't really try to change anything too much. So like Speed Racer is just the guy's name. Like his first name is Speed, his last name is Racer.
It's not like his name's Johnny, but he prefers to be called Speed.
Yeah. And like his parents are named Pops and Mom. And like he's
the kid is Spritle, you know.
Yeah, he has a pet chimpanzee. But like, yeah, so like
I gotta say, like, as much as the Spritle and Chim Chim antics are kind of like the most kiddie parts in the movie, and they have like annoyed me every once in a while, it is nuts how well they played on the big screen. Like people were going crazy for Spritle and Chim Chim.
Yeah, because those are always my least favorite parts in previous viewings, and seeing in the theater, like my crowd was having a blast with it.
Yeah, it's like you have no idea how big a laugh Chim Chim Cookies got.
Yeah. But yeah, so like the basic premise that Speed Racer, like he's you know, he's been ever since he's a young boy, he has been absolutely obsessed with racing and nothing else. He doesn't give a shit about anything else in the world, except for his family, of course. But yeah, so he's a part of this big race, and he's the race is the I forgot the name of the races, but so his this is a race that is
I think that track is called Thunderhead.
Thunderhead, yeah. So
which again, I've seen this movie like 20 times. Of course, it's all burned into my brain.
So this track is something that is one that his brother has the record on. His older brother, Rex Racer, played by Friday Night Lights Scott Porter. I
do have DVDs of the first 2 seasons of that.
You got to watch it. You'll love it. Yeah,
it's going to be what I do after Angel, but I also have the movie because my brain wouldn't allow myself to watch the show without watching the movie first, even if it has no bearing on it whatsoever.
It gets the show matches the visual style because Peter Berg directed both the pilot and the movie, but narratively there's no connections at all.
Yes, director of a Taylor Sheridan written Call of Duty movie, Peter Berg.
That was
literally announced like 3 days
ago. That
is
the perfect perfect fit for a Call of Duty movie. Like I have it's the dream director and writer pairing for Call of Duty movies, Sheridan and Berg. Like I can't complain about it.
It is going to be the most propagandistic bullshit you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also probably going to be entirely shot on Sheridan's ranch in Utah or Montana or wherever his fucking ranch that he shoots all his TV shows on is.
Yeah.
That guy really is just white Tyler Perry.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so his older brother, Rex, he died in a different race, the Casa Cristo 5000, and
Yeah, after leaving the independent racer motors team to sign with a sponsor, and was apparently like part of a race fixing operation that led to his death.
And the way that they tell these flashbacks is incredible. So Speed's doing the entire race and everything, and the way this is like it's almost like a Mario Galaxy 8-track, or sorry, a Mario Kart 8-track, where like it's all like loops and curvy stuff. Like it's not like a straight like flat race. It is like anti-gravity shit pretty much.
Yeah, it's like every race is Rainbow Road.
Yeah, and so as like he's like doing incredibly well this race, they're bouncing off other cars, colors all over the place. Like you cut to like members of the family and like panning shots of their faces, and they're just like pan and wipe into a flashback, and you get like a little like quick little flashback scene, and it'll pan back and go to a different family member. It is so incredible. It's such like, I was blown, like, how do you like visualize, how do you storyboard that? It's so clever.
Yeah, and part of that is, you shoot on the green screen and you can do a lot editing that, but at the same time, like,
conceptualizing
part of it is just that the cast of this movie is so great and locked in. Like, Emil Hirsch, who plays Speed, is probably like the least successful cast member in the movie, and even then he has sort of like that earnestness to him,
Yeah, like it's not a meaty role for him, but he gets it right. And I think that if the movie had him be any more complex, it wouldn't work.
Especially because you look at who like the runner-up for the role was, and it was fucking Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah, Eddie Redmayne would not be able to do this role well. And
Eddie Redmayne, who has given one good performance in his entire career, and it was Jupiter Ascending. I have a deep primal hatred for Eddie Redmayne. Yeah. Go look up images of him in Broadway playing the MC in Cabaret if you want to kill yourself.
Oh, I've seen those, yep.
It is genuinely the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
The Danish Girl is like one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
That movie's so fucking bad.
Yeah. But yeah, so like his family, it's made of like John Goodman plays a Pops racer, Susan Sarandon plays Mom.
Christina Ricci is Trixie, his
Christina
girlfriend.
Ricci's so hot in this movie.
And Christina Ricci is also like so good at doing like the cartoon stuff.
She has huge eyes. She looks like an anime
obviously
character.
Susan Sarandon plays like the ideal mom. Like she's just so earnest and loving. And
there's
John Goodman. And John Goodman, there are very few people as good as John Goodman.
There's a part where like Susan Sarandon is sitting down with a Speed Racer and like talking about like his love for racing, the family's love for racing, will follow you, support your dreams and stuff. And she's saying the most nonsense, goofy things ever, but with absolute sincerity and commitment. It's so funny. Like it's, you need that in this movie, because if you had someone like, even if it was winky in any way, or kind of like winking at the eyes, like you had this is goofy, like it would completely fall apart. But it is just like, she's fully committed. And I think every performance in this movie is committed.
Yeah, and you don't get much more committed than looking at Roger Allam playing the villainous Royalton.
Yeah.
I actually have a very interesting sort of family history with Roger Allam.
Really?
Because one of my family's big road trip CDs was the original London cast recording of Les Miserables, where Roger Allam played Javert.
Oh, I didn't know. That's cool.
Yeah, and so like that's the Javert that is constantly burned into my brain, even though other actors had played the role since and have done it very well. Norm Lewis in particular is great, but yeah.
And he can probably actually sing on like Russell Crowe.
Oh yeah, Allam actually has like an underrated singing voice. And like it's not like Javert on stage has always been played by like experienced performers, because I think the guy who played him in the 10th anniversary concert wasn't a trained singer. He just happened to lock in perfectly.
Like I definitely listened to the original recording of Les Mis, so I definitely have heard his Javert before. Like, was he? He was also in V for Vendetta as well, which the Wachowskis produced just before this.
Yeah, I did a big Wachowski rewatch last year that didn't do the Wachowski produced stuff, which I do still have and plan on doing. The stuff they produced that their longtime first AD James McTeague directed.
Yeah, I haven't watched the movie in a while, but I do have. I was obsessed with the movie when it came out.
Dude, there were a lot of people who were obsessed with V for Vendetta.
Oh, I was obsessed in
the imagery from.
I was obsessed in a way that I actually enjoyed the movie. I wasn't obsessed with like I want to be V and commit some terrorism or go on 4chan.
Yeah, like Anonymous really latched on to the V for Vendetta imagery.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also Ninja Assassin, which
I've not seen that one.
It's fine. It stars Rain, who plays Taijo Togakon in the movie, who is one of the background racers. And I guess the W's loved working with him so much that they wanted to build a movie entirely around him.
Mm-hmm.
But that script was written by J. Michael Straczynski in 50-something hours.
Jesus.
They had a couple different drafts that weren't working, so they just called the comic book writer J. Michael Straczynski and just told him, we need a script. So he just made a pot of coffee and banged one out, and that's what they shot.
He also did Babylon 5 and Sense8, right?
I know a lot of people love Babylon 5.
Yeah, I want to watch it because it sounds like my kind of show because I love this the long story arcs of Deep Space Nine, that kind of era of sci-fi,
because they're putting all of Babylon 5 on YouTube, but I know there's some controversy with the Babylon 5 DVDs that they fucked up the effects.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently they fixed them for the Blu-rays though.
Yeah, I do. That's a show that I've always wanted to watch, but I kind of want to just commit to it. So it's 5 seasons. It's pretty long, so.
But yeah, back to Roger Ellum as Royalton. He is just hamming it up to the millionth degree.
Yes.
He has some absolutely delicious line deliveries. There was one that was in the trailer that has stuck with me so much, which is, you won't win, you won't place, I promise you, you won't even finish the race.
And his whole deal is Speed wins this first big race, and his whole family has an operation where they're running the race themselves independently, and Royalton, he's the head of Royalton Industries, and he wants to give Speed Racer a chance to be on his team and be part of this complete mega conglomerate where
to sort of absorb Racer Motors so that they still exist, but the pitch is that they still exist technically as an independent, but they have Royalton Industries at their disposal.
Mm-hmm. That's the pitch, and playing. The way he's playing is very kindly and stuff. I'm gonna be so nice about this.
And he takes them through his Spy Kids corporate building.
Very Spy Kids, yeah.
It's literally just going to Alan Cummings' castle and just watching all this all these CGI shenanigans happening.
They have all the drivers working out and stuff, and they're doing trapeze cheerleader stuff and on those gravitational rings and stuff that astronauts do.
It's so detailed. There's so much shit going on.
And never once do we ever think this movie is actually filmed on it's very clear this is all computer effects or composited, and it's kind of a thing where once you get yourself once you kind of let yourself be absorbed by the world, it kind of clicks in, but it is visually so different than anything you've ever seen.
Yeah, and there isn't really much that's tried to I guess copy what Speed Racer is doing since.
Yeah.
Occasionally you have something animated that goes crazy and you see try to advance the medium, but really it just means everything tries to copy that. You look at Spider-Verse and how every Sony animated movie since that has just been copying Spider-Verse. I like K-pop Demon Hunters, but that movie is definitely sort of reheating Spider-Verse's nachos in the animation department.
Yeah, it's you don't really get these big visual experiments anymore. The closest you get to visual experiments now is a Harmony Korine movie like Aggro Drift. But
oh, good. Dance bitches.
But you don't really get something as experimental. This is the Wachowski's blank check movie. This is they made all the management, they do whatever the hell they wanted. And I saw this one quote earlier from Lana Wachowski. I saw it just popped on my Twitter earlier about how every generation experiences aesthetic death, and when you really assault an aesthetic, people freak out. But we said that kids are okay with aesthetic change. So, and a lot of the stuff, especially I think what really helped me this time around, was that not the stuff with the kid and the monkey. It is, yeah, it kind of reminds me this is a movie that is supposed to be for 10-year-olds, and the fact that this feels like a cartoon that you would watch when you're 10 years old on TV, just brought to life.
And kind of half feel like you're getting away with something because people are swearing. Like, this movie has a PG rating, but it has the longest reasons for a movie being PG I have ever seen. Like, brief sexual innuendo, smoking, 5 billion other things, characters swear a fair bit, you know?
Yeah.
At one point, Spritle flips off Royalton, which got a big pop from my audience.
Yeah, so ultimately, Speed like turns down Royalton because he's like wants to keep it all in the family because like racing is all that matters to them, and like racing has helped brought himself closer to his dad, especially after the older brother Rex died, and
then Royalton just goes into this big monologue about how racing is basically just fixed to help do stock manipulation.
Yeah. And all these races have like stock graphs on them during the races too. So this is kind of like a dystopian thing where like it's all about like, you know, it's like if you're watching like, you know, a football game and then have just the FanDuel like odds, but they also have like the Tesla stock on it on the screen too.
Honestly, like, it would probably be more accurate to be, like, Nike stock, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or, like, Adidas stock, if like, a character who... I mean, like, if a player who has an Adidas contract makes a crazy catch, like, Adidas stock goes up because he's wearing Adidas gloves.
Yeah. So, because all these races have been fixed, he says, like, over the years, like, the Grand Prix has never had a real winner. Like, he's just, like... You know, it completely kind of devastates Speed, because especially bring up later on, like when after Rex died, when he was just a little boy, Speed and his dad were watching like a rerun of the race on TV, and that's kind of when they kind of both started becoming out of their shells, like getting over the fact kind of coming to grips of Rex passing away and kind of learn to move on, which is a really nice scene.
And then this leads into one of the more heartbreaking moments in the movie, which is the bit where Roger Allam as Royalton is like narrating how Speed Racer is going to lose a race, and then they're going to embroil the company in like bullshit IP litigation and tank their I guess image in the same way that their image was supposedly tanked by Rex Racer's stuff. And
because he was like dragged through the press of being like a dirty racer, a cheat, like not a not the Rex that they knew. They always knew Rex as like, you know, a good guy, but like the press just completely ruined him, and it's just all these corporate fuckers just like getting in the way of it all for profit.
Yeah, and you see that in the first race because like you have these like race announcers sort of like talking about Speed's entire backstory, and you see a couple different sort of perspectives on it, because you have the guys who are just like sort of like saying it like in a documentary. You have the guys who were like doing like Bill Simmons type like narrativizing, I guess. And one of those announcers is actually the original voice actor from the cartoon.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's the old guy who's like, you bet your ass he'd be proud of it.
Yeah, and also he brought us to, he talks to Richard Roundtree, who plays like an older racer that he's watched before, like who's like won this historic
Ben
race.
Burns, who was the winner of the 43 race.
Yeah, the one that him and his dad like loved watching. Yeah,
and he like sort of like halfway admits that the race was fixed.
Yeah, a very sly way of doing it too, and it's just like it kind of devastates Speed even more because he's kind of having some doubts because of racing's everything in life, and like even like Speed will go back to his bedroom and like he's like rips a poster off his wall of his supposed racing hero, because like he knows that like it was not about the passion of the race for them, it was all just corporate manipulation.
And then we get the Susan Sarandon monologue, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And then we get the next development in the story, which is the appearance of Racer X and the best name in the entire universe, Inspector Detective.
I burst out laughing when I heard that name.
Like, there was actually a laugh like later on in the movie when Speed says, "Inspector Detective suspected foul play."
That part's so good. Emile Hirsch says it, rouse it off so well.
Yeah, but like, Racer X is an anonymous racer who
he like basically does spy shit, and like he is
he's a very physical racer who is always like banging his car against other cars.
Yeah, when like the heist scene where he's like he's attacking like the mob vehicle.
Oh yeah, so there's a scene in the movie where Taijo Togukan, played by Rain, is being tortured by some race fixers, the main guy being named Crusher Block, which is another one of these great anime names. Mm-hmm. And his hand is about to be fed to piranhas, but Racer X comes and saves him. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to get Taijo Togukan to help take down Crusher Block and connect him to Royalton. What ensues is just a crazy, like, sort of car gunfight, and there are some shots that straight up like look like Scott Pilgrim before Scott Pilgrim.
Oh yeah, so much so. Yeah. What I also love this fight too is like when all the gangsters inside like open up the little holes inside, like to shoot their guns outside the windows. It's like such a funny little gag that they all have like the little like gun holes.
Yeah, and there's a couple henchmen who just kind of look like Boy George.
Yeah. Yeah, like they have like it's all such unique. They look either like Boy George or like Batman villains.
Like maybe it's closer to Dick Tracy.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and
because like there's crazy hair and whatnot, but it doesn't go quite like the Netflix One Piece live action show where it just looks like bad cosplay, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Racer X is played by Matthew Fox. He was the lead character Jack on Lost. He didn't really have much of a like. He kind of stepped away from acting for a while. Like,
yeah, I think part of that was personal troubles because
he had drinking problems for sure. I know that.
He was kind of like he got in trouble for like assaulting people. I know. Mm-hmm. And Fox was apparently the second choice because, like, from what I remember, the W's wanted Keanu to play Racer X.
I think I'm not sure how well that would work because I think Matthew Fox is a great actor. What I think really works with him is like he's able to like be a lot more eager in a way that Keanu Reeves is not really that eager of a performer.
Fox,
portray eagerness,
and also Fox is, I guess, his vocal delivery is more cartoony.
Yeah,
especially like Reeves would have done like his sort of like Keanu thing, and I would have loved it because I love Keanu.
Yeah.
But it's also very fun to see Fox just throw himself into this utter cartoon role.
Yeah. And also, like, spoiler alert, it ends up, like, Speed has his suspicions that Racer X, because he popped up, like, a few months after Rex died, that maybe it's his brother and such. And like, you know, Matthew Fox takes off, like, the mask and everything. He's like, nope, I'm not Rex. I'm someone completely different. But it's revealed that they're the same person. He just got plastic surgery done. But I think that there's a lot more...
And honestly, that scene is so emotional. Like, part of it is that Michael Giacchino's score is playing under it, and it's maybe Giacchino's best score, the best he ever did. Which is saying something, considering how Giacchino... It's like him and Ludwig Göransson are basically, like, right in sort of competition with each other to kind of become, like, the next, like, John Williams or Hans Zimmer, you know?
Yeah. I will say that Michael Giacchino's score for Lost is, like, the best score I've ever heard for anything ever. Like, it's the amount of variation in themes he has for it, how consistent it is episode by episode, just kind of something fresh. Like, no TV show sounds like that. Like, or is that... It sounds epic in a way that TV shows do not normally. But he's a fantastic composer. But I think that with the Scott Porter to Matthew Fox makes a lot more sense of a leap than Scott Porter to
because
Keanu
you
Reeves.
have TV because you have like teen TV star going to adult TV star.
Yeah, and also, like, you know, also Matthew Fox was I guess he wasn't a teen during Party of Five, but like it's just they're both the way they present themselves as kind of like, you know, do-gooders in a way. Keanu Reeves, I don't think is that kind of performer. I think it also, I feel that'd be kind of feel like more of too cute of a cameo in a way.
And also maybe like, I keep imagining older Keanu in this role as compared to like what Keanu was doing in the late 2000s.
Yeah.
Which was a lot of indies mostly.
Like, I think it would have worked, but I think it's nice seeing Matthew Fox pop up on screen because I think he's a good performer, and I think he does the role well. He does he's excited to see when like there's parts when he's not in the Racer X like persona that he's like, you know, actively eager watching Speed Race and such. And Keanu, I don't think would be able to do that as naturally. I don't think.
I kind of get where you're going at. Like, I can't imagine Keanu just like, you know, like at a soccer game cheering on.
Yeah, and like, or something hardball he does that, but like cheering us up. But that's such a different kind of Keanu performance that doesn't really feel like as like max. Like this movie's so maximalistic in so many ways, and I don't think that I don't think that Keanu Reeves' wavelength would fit at all in Speed Racer. Like I'm trying to think of any role that he would really fit for this specific movie.
Speaking of, like, there were past attempts at making Speed Racer into a movie that would have been a lot different. Like, there was one attempt in the early 90s that would have been directed by the music video director Julian Temple, who directed a lot of Sex Pistols stuff. Mm-hmm. And his version would have had Johnny Depp as Speed Racer and Henry Rollins as Racer X.
That would have been terrible.
Like, this was like pretty boy 90s Johnny Depp, and as fun an actor as Henry Rollins can be, like, I have no idea if him as Racer X was seen as like anything other than the director has punk connections, and it would be funny to see Henry Rollins like in the Racer X getup.
Yeah, but also like you imagine a '90s Speed Racer would not be a visual effects big movie like this. It would probably be a lot more down to earth.
Yeah, and at a different point in the early 2000s, like, I think the hip-hop music video director Hype Williams was attached. And Hype Williams, dude's a crazy music video director, and I've heard his movie Belly is actually really good.
Have I seen Belly? I forget if I've seen Belly.
I think it's the one with DMX.
Oh, I don't think I've seen it, no.
Yeah, I've heard that one rips. Mm-hmm. And there was another point where, like, Vince Vaughn had the rights, and he was like, I get to play Racer X.
That would have also been bad.
It's like, I have mostly negative feelings about Vince Vaughn as a screen presence. Mm-hmm. Like, I've heard he's good in those S. Craig Zoller movies, which I believe, but most of the Vince Vaughn performances I've seen, I've mostly been annoyed by. Mm-hmm. And also, Vince Vaughn is one of the most commonly recurring celebrity Cubs fans, Chicago Cubs fans, who shows up at games.
Oh, yeah.
Which means I have to see him way more than I want to, because he'll just always be at random Cubs games.
Mm. It's like being a fan of Toronto sports and seeing Drake all the time.
Yeah, it's like, can't Eddie Vedder be here?
Yeah.
You know? Because Eddie Vedder is also a big celebrity Cubs fan who shows up a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when the Cubs were in the World Series, the games at Wrigley Field, the seventh inning stretches were performed by Bill Murray, Vince Vaughn, and Eddie Vedder. The three sort of, like, really big celebrity Cubs fans.
I remember those Bill Murray ones going viral when the Cubs were in the World Series.
Oh, yeah, Bill Murray was just showing up everywhere. Like, he showed up at the White House press to just sort of yap about the Cubs for a minute. And he was, like, in the crowd for every game, so, like, when the Cubs finally won that World Series, of course, they had a camera on Bill Murray, and they cut to him at one point. Mm-hmm. Heck, Bill Murray ended up on the field. Because he's Bill Murray. What are you going to do? Say no?
Exactly, yeah.
Anyways, so the reason why Inspector Detector and Racer X show up at the house is because they want to recruit Speed to help win a race, so that Taijo Togokon will give them information that'll help them get what they need. But the race is Kazakristo, which is seen as a sort of dangerous race for scumbags that I guess would be what a race in, like, Abu Dhabi would be before Abu Dhabi had like sports washed themselves.
It seems more like it's like a red line race than it is like a typical circuit race. It's like a cross country race where people can just do whatever the fuck they want. Like,
yeah, and it's funny that one of the announcers for the race is a former racer who's like, most of the racers are by the book, and then it cuts to like showing X-rays of all the cars, seeing what crazy weapons are in it.
It's so funny, but
and
also like
and Royalton is paying Crusher Block to pay like other racers to try and take Speed Racer X and Taijo out.
Mm-hmm.
And they also like have this fucking French racer that they promised the race to, who is just, that actor is just having so much fun going 5 different times of crazy. He's a German actor named Christian Oliver, who actually passed away a few years ago in a boat accident.
Wow. Well, yeah, like I also love that like Speed Racer gets his own car like decked out with all kinds of with like there's like 9 gadgets he has. Press a button for each one. So like simple like things like where like stilts the car to make it jump a bit. Like saw blades at the front of the car to cut other vehicles. Like little have the hubcaps pop up to get little blades too. So it's really like it's really fun because like you get to see all these stunts all these gadgets get used in order to throughout the race. And
that segment of the race has one of the most awesome things in the world, which is a car is jumping over Racer X to try and like shoot him or whatever, and then Racer X propels his own car up, punches the driver in the face, and then lands his car safely while the other car crashes. It's
so cool, and
it got such a big pop, and also like it was funny seeing the different like themed racers get paid off in their own way. Like the girly girl racers get paid to try and kill Speed with diamonds. The U.S. Army racers get paid with like U.S. money, and you see the dollar signs in their eyes as their faces become the horizon as the race is going on, which is such a wild image. And then you get the Viking racers who are paid off with fur pelts.
It's so fucking funny. They're rubbing the fur all over their face, see how soft it is.
And it also seems like they're using it as napkins because they're very messily eating meat.
Yeah, and like I love how again they do all these like they show the face and they pan it and they do the wipe to show these various flashbacks. It's so kinetic and interesting. Like,
and also they're like throwing beehives at each other.
Yeah, with catapults. It's so funny. And like, so Speed's parents like do not know he's doing this. So it's him and Trixie, Christina Ricci, who are like doing this race. Like she's like up in a helicopter, like being a spotter. One little runner I love in this movie too is like, Trixie and Speed go on these little dates and stuff, and they just keep talking about how like when all is said and done, when he wins a big race, he's going to give her a big kiss. And every time they're about to just kiss as a couple throughout the movie until the end, something interrupts them.
Usually Spritle.
Yeah, usually him, but like it's funny that they just like hold off the kissing until the very, very end, and it's very satisfying because they get a good
joke. And also, like a
too.
very funny thing I noticed as like a thing they do to make it a kids movie, like they have like after this chunk of the race where they finish in second, Speed and Trixie are eating dinner in their hotel room, and it's like styled like a fancy adult dinner, but they're eating burgers and fries. And they're using like a 2-liter bottle of Diet Coke, like, but they're styling it as a wine bottle, sticking it into like ice.
Yeah. There's so many fun little visual gags too, and I love it so much. Like even they use food as well pretty well too. When for the Grand Prix, where they have like, all the people whining and dining one another, and meanwhile back at the racer
Speed's house, cut to Susan Sarandon just making a bunch of PB&Js.
Yeah, it's such like a fun cut because it's such a it's family versus the corporation. It's the rich versus the underdogs. Like it's,
and also there's like a big point. They make a big point of her making pancakes earlier in the movie, and Royalton attempting to buy the recipe from her.
Yeah, yeah. Like it, and like all the ways these scenes are just cut together too, and just edited. Like it's just so like you never get taken out of the action. Like the editing is just it's just so. You're constantly in the action because the way it's just weaved together. The pacing's incredible. And like this movie's like pretty long too, and I feel like it just does not feel long at all because you're just so wrapped up with how it's stitched together. It's stitched together in such a wonderful way. Like
it's like some of the fastest 2 hours and 15 minutes you'll ever watch.
Yeah. Like this
because
is longer
like any other movie that goes this hard for this long. Like like, I have watched these movies that, like, start off like a bullet, and I get so wrapped up in it, and then by, like, the hour mark, I just am wiped out. That is never the case with Speed Racer.
Yeah, I feel this movie is visually exhausting, but emotionally not at all. So, like, I feel like by the end of it, I was like, oh, like, I saw a movie. I saw a movie and I felt I had a great time with it. I didn't really feel like burnt out with it. I feel like just because I was wrapped up in the emotion too, so it just worked so well for me.
Yeah, and like for day 2 of the race, but before then, like Speed's family shows up and Pops Racer kind of chews him out for doing what he said not to do, and because Pops Racer is still taking Rex's death hard, and his death happened at this very race. And like you get to the point where before the race, it shows Speed standing in front of a memorial for drivers who died on the track. And some of those names are really funny because even for this memorial of like racers who died, they give like they follow the style of very funny racer names. But it's played so seriously that and like emotionally meaningful that there was not like a dry eye in the place like during the whole movie. Like you had laughs at like the sprite antics and whatnot, but the best part of my audience last night is that no one was just laughing to feel like they were above it all. Yeah. Like you get sometimes that like I always hear reports from friends in New York and LA who report very irony poisoned rep screening crowds. Like people who will laugh at every moment in like the Lady Snowblood movies or something.
Oh god. I saw Halloween this past Halloween, like the original John Carpenter one. My theater was laughing the whole time. I was so pissed off.
Yeah, and like I think part of that is that the cinephile audience in Kansas City hasn't had the time to get as irony poisoned, you know? Because because like we just got film projectors at one of our theaters. And I've seen 3 movies that are projected on 70 millimeter film, and the audience was just absolutely 100% locked in. And I think part of it is that, like, I had to, like, drive a half hour in terrible traffic out to Olathe, Kansas from the middle of Kansas City, Missouri. And it, like, the Kansas suburbs of Kansas City are an abject nightmare. I hate all of them that I've been to. It is very much like white people's suburbia, and so many fucking chain restaurants and fucking shopping centers and places called Nebraska Furniture Mart. And of course they're moving the fucking Chiefs out there.
It's what the Chiefs deserve.
Yeah. And Olathe is on the further edge of that. Like, it's not like driving out to Lawrence, which is, like, a different direction. You're driving 10 minutes further, but you're getting to, like, an actual town. Like, Olathe is very much, like, where you go if you want to, like, say you live in the Kansas City area, but you only drive into Kansas City for concerts and you spend the whole time complaining about it. And the AMC out there, like, whenever I have to go to an AMC these days after finding my beloved local indie theater, the Screenland Armor in North Kansas City, going to AMC feels like deeply depressing. But, you know, the AMCs have the IMAX screens.
Yeah.
And there is an AMC I go to that has an IMAX screen that was not the one that got the Speed Racer re-release. So thus me having to drive out to Olathe. And this AMC, not as good as the other one. Because the other one has reclining seats. And this one did not.
Yeah, no,
and a smaller IMAX screen, which is saying something.
Yeah, mine didn't have recliners, but yeah, like I was really impressed with my crowd overall. I think especially because like a Speed Racer is like not like.
It's not like everyone packing in to see a movie they've seen on TV a billion times. You know?
It's not like everyone's watching Back to the Future. It's Speed Racer, a movie that was maligned when it came out, and Wachowski heads are defending. Not like you know, it's not something like your drunk frat friend to come visit you and go watch with you.
Yeah, it's like part of why this IMAX screening being like the only one in the area is that all the people in the area who love Speed Racer or want to show their friends Speed Racer, this was the only opportunity.
Yeah.
So they all came out, they packed the theater, and they were locked in the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me talk about a moment where you knew everyone was locked in. After the Speed Racer family shows up and they get talked into helping Speed instead of going back home, Royalton assassins come in and attempt to poison and or kill Taijo, Racer X, and Speed. And the assassins are ninjas, because of course they are. And the one that attacks Speed gets foiled by Spritle waking up and screaming as he notices him. And you have a brief fight where Spritle, Chim Chim, and Speed sort of like attack this ninja and sort of make a fool out of him. And then Pops wakes up, and bro goes fucking in. He gets the ninja in a headlock, it zooms into like a Greco-Roman wrestling championship ring. And Pops just lays this ninja the fucking waste and throws him out the window on the room service cart.
Spins him around like pizza dough in the air.
Yeah, and Trixie and Susan Sarandon as Mom Racer, they sort of like come in midway through and watch this all happen. Trixie, after it's all over, Trixie says, "Oh my god, was that a ninja?" To which John Goodman responds, "More like a nanja."
Yeah.
Shame what passes for ninjas these days. And the crowd fucking applauded. Like,
Yeah.
We all went fucking crazy at maybe the best line in cinema history, said by one of the best actors in cinema history, John Goodman. And it didn't feel ironic at all. Everyone loved it. And there was also applause at the end, and all I heard from people talking about the movie in the lobby or walking out of the theater or even like in the parking lot was people talking about how much they loved it, especially the ones who had seen it for the first time.
Yeah. I think it's just a better era for this movie than it is when it first came out, because I think that's just like, this feels like such a breath of fresh air in a way that like is kind of like, when it first came out, it's kind of like, this is more baffling than fresh. It is a fresh movie because it's a new thing, but it's baffling. But like, it's just so, yeah, this movie is really special. It really is. Like,
yeah, I think another way time has been kind to this movie as far as the craft goes is we have like movies nowadays that are like made entirely in the volume, which is sort of like the next evolution of digital film technology. And when the volume first kind of like was being like brought out, everyone was like, "Oh, this is novel. This is cool." But the volume has become such an obvious lazy crutch now.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they showed the trailer for Mandalorian Grogu before this movie.
Oh yeah,
what a contrast! That movie looks like dog shit.
Yeah, man, that movie looks awful. And like the thing is, like Mandalorian was like one of the first major things to use the volume, and everyone was like, "This looks crazy. This looks good." And for every time you get, and like every time you get like Matt Reeves using the volume in the Batman, which looks great, you get shit like Dim Jarrett and Gogurt. This movie that looks like dog shit that has a Martin Scorsese cameo for reasons I do not fully understand.
God. It's gonna be so bad. Like,
I'm not gonna see it.
I was watching this trailer. I was like, I saw the IMAX. Just like, as things look bad. Like, I was saying, like, there's a new Star Wars movie coming out in a few weeks, and I don't care about it at all. But like, because the news about that Avengers Doomsday, like the Endgame re-release, and how like, oh, the extra scene, they're like, oh yeah, like, part of me was like, oh yeah, well, obviously I'm gonna rewatch Endgame before I watch the new Avengers movie, and I'm like, the fact that I'm more likely to do more work for a Marvel movie than I am a Star Wars movie, I think Disney's lost it entirely. Like, that's bad that they've lost me. Like,
yeah, and I'm not even going to see either. Like, if you talked to me like 10 years ago, I would have thought that was crazy that I wouldn't go see a Marvel or a Star Wars movie in theaters immediately, but because I was deep in
like
the tank for those once upon a time.
A team-up Marvel movie, too, like, a big one.
Yeah, it's like, once upon a time I was so in the tank for these, but now I couldn't care less. I just want to go see my indie theater do Tenet on 70mm, which is happening.
Nice.
And otherwise, just like watch all these like used DVDs I have at home.
and like, but like also like, it's something to be said about like a movie like Speed Racer, which is standalone. Standalone and tells a complete story,
and doesn't look like the world's worst minestrone.
Yeah, and there's some actual visual creativity. There's an artist behind it. There's artists behind it, and yeah, like I wish they made more movies like this, where they just give a director a bunch of change and have them adapt an IP in this fascinating of a manner. Like, the fact that I know nothing about Speed Racer other than this movie pretty much and an arcade game, and I can come out of it like, okay, like I think I get the dynamics, I get everything, and it's not setting up like Speed Racer 2. Like it's which apparently they were thinking about making.
Oh, they wanted to at the time, but honestly, I don't even know what could have been done for it. Which
I think it's a bad idea. I was reading that like apparently even in the mid 2010s there was a script written, but I think it's a bad idea because I think that I don't know. I think that it would.
Like I feel like if the W's wanted to do it, there would.
I'd be behind it, but like
because if the W's were going to do a Speed Racer 2, if they wanted to do a Speed Racer 2, I think that would have been a movie I would have really liked. Yeah. But I cannot think of what an obvious Speed Racer sequel could be outside of like, you know, Speed finding out about Rex's identity and that being a whole big emotional thing.
But what's great about this movie too is that like despite how visually complex it is, it's a really simple story.
Yeah, like just like bunch of races, got to take down the bad corporate guys.
Yeah, and so after this big race in the middle here, they find out that Tejo
actually we haven't even talked about day 2 of the race, which has one of
right, yeah, there's 2 parts, yeah,
because like Tejo does end up being poisoned. And they come up with a way to like get around the fact that they have obviously been like set up by Royalton and Crusher Block to fail, which is that in order to buy Tejo more time to recover from being poisoned, they have Trixie take his place in the race, which Trixie is a much less experienced driver, but it does lead to some fun back and forth between her, Speed, and Racer X. You have the children focus line.
I love the panning between their faces. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and then, you know, they get to the switch-off point. They have Crusher Block in handcuffs, and his team shows up, and it leads to a whole big fight sequence that uses snow as speed lines, and it just whip pans between every character taking on other characters. You get some fun Spritle and Chim Chim antics, which... How are they not dead after having snuck into Speed's car for that entire leg of the race?
And I love how every actor gets a little bit of like fight choreography in this scene.
Yeah, including Kit Gurry as Sparky, who we haven't really talked about. Kit Gurry becomes a recurring player in the Wachowskis' oeuvre. He's in Jupiter Ascending. I think he's in Sense8. He's so much fun. He's just like the little Aussie mechanic who cannot fight to save his damn life.
Yeah.
And also, like, there's a lot of guns in that scene. But I don't think, outside of Racer X, any of the other characters fire a gun once.
Yeah. Because it wouldn't
Speed,
fit, right?
You get Speed getting thrown a gun and hitting a guy in the head with it.
Yeah. It wouldn't really fit for like, our good guys using guns in this movie.
And then we get back to the race where they fall behind because they have to stop, you know, all that. Mm-hmm. And Speed gets knocked off the mountain, and he ends up driving back up the mountain as the Speed Racer, as an orchestral version of the Speed Racer theme just swells on the soundtrack, and it's so fucking good.
The mountain is where Rex died, so this is a big
and they go through that ice cave, and you have like the light reflections on the ice walls, and it
looks so cool.
How do they do this shit? Like,
yeah, and
like it is such a marvel of effects work, genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what won the VFX Oscar that year?
2008? Let me take a look. I bet it was something bad.
I feel like it has to be The Dark Knight, right?
Maybe. Oh, yeah, probably. Unless there's something else that...
Because the previous year was Golden
The Curious
Trumpet.
Case of Benjamin Button won the Oscar for visual effects.
Okay, honestly fair because
that
there was
has some decent stuff in it, but nothing truly as impressive as
that
this.
was kind of seen as like a big sort of visual marvel at the time, right? Because of the various aging and de-aging on Brad Pitt.
Yeah, that's like more of a makeup. I guess there's some good makeup, yeah, some good visual effects with that. There's also like a battle scene in the movie too, a quick little boat battle scene.
Yeah, I think Benjamin Button is the only Fincher I have yet to see.
It's the only one I don't like. It's fine. It's too long.
Yeah,
like,
because the thing that's because like I have a digital copy of the movie, but the thing that's kept me from clicking it a lot is that it's like 2 hours 40 minutes long.
Yeah,
like
a theater mine did a Fincher retrospective back last year, so I got to watch it in the theater again, and it just like, it's fine.
It's like I love seeing longer movies in the theater, but with Benjamin Button, it does kind of read as like does this movie need to be longer than my dick?
Yeah. Yeah, it is very, very long.
I use that line all the time to talk about long movies, and want to know where I stole it from?
What?
The direct-to-video Nick Cage movie Rage, where at one point Danny Glover says the line, "He's got a rap sheet longer than my dick."
I don't think I've seen that Cage movie, no.
It has its moments. It's actually very funny that it has a very funny ending for a revenge movie that sort of like reveals what he's supposedly getting revenge for and how the whole thing has been useless. But otherwise, it's a very sort of like standard like direct-to-video Cage movie of that era.
Yeah, those movies were not that great.
Yeah, back to Speed Racer. They win the race. Taijo celebrates, but it was revealed that he used him, Inspector, the Racer family, Racer X, and Inspector Detector as pawns in his own game to sort of like up his company's stock before a merger.
Yeah.
And no one responds to it well, including Speed, who just takes the car, goes out to Thunderhead, and fucking crashes it.
Yeah. And he like runs into like Racer X there, who's like trying to match him in the race there. And this is where Racer X takes off his mask, like, "Hey, I'm not Rex at all." But
he gives Speed some words of advice, which come back near the end of the movie. You don't climb in there to be a driver. You do it because you're driven.
Mm-hmm. Which, and like, very, very much, very similar to how Rex would give him advice as a kid. Like it's a nice little moment here, and it's kind of like, okay, yeah, well, like, even if he is not Rex, he's still like a good mentor for Speed.
Yeah, and then we get to Speed gets home and he packs up intending to, like, I guess run away and like become another Racer X, and Spritle comes in, asks where he's going, asks if he can come too, and it reminds Speed of the exact moment where he was talking with Rex as he was leaving home as a kid. And then Speed says maybe like a very quietly devastating line, "When it's your turn, you'll understand."
Yeah.
But instead of yelling at him like he did with Rex, Pops Racer just sits him down, talks about it, and says, "I won't make the mistake I made then."
Yeah, because he didn't lose Rex that day. He didn't lose Rex during the race. He lost Rex long before the race.
And then Pops talks about how the thing that pulled him out of it was watching that old race with Speed, and I believe the metaphor he uses is, "I didn't know if I wanted sold on my eggs, let alone if I wanted to keep building cars."
Yeah, Goodman's really good in this movie.
Yeah, and the thing is, apparently during this movie, Goodman was trying to get sober. Like, he was trying to kick alcoholism at the time, and the word was, it was the actors in the movie kind of like, who played the Racer family, kind of formed a little family of their own and helped support Goodman through his early journey into sobriety.
Yeah, good for him.
And they were very tight-knit as a result. And they were like openly talking in interviews like, "We want to make like 5 more of these. We love working with each other."
Now I do want that sequel then, even if it is shit, just so they can work together again.
Yeah, and has Goodman just been doing the Connors for the last bunch of years?
That and the Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, Righteous Gemstones, which shot in my old stomping grounds of Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah.
it's very funny because I would like drive to my favorite record store back down there, and right across the lot was like a dying mall that had turned the old Sears into the exterior of the Gemstones Ministries. And the local arena where the minor hockey league team played and Big X would come for shows, that was like used as the exterior for the megachurch.
That's cool.
The megachurch stuff was shot inside there as well, which is funny because I haven't seen a full episode of the show, but I remember watching trailers.
It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's totally the North Charleston Coliseum. But yeah,
and John Goodman's in those shows too. Yeah.
Yep. And because I know he's in Digger, the new Inarritu movie with Tom Cruise, and apparently that's his first film role in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Was the last movie he did was that 10 Cloverfield Lane?
No, I think I think it might have been like that Rupert Wilde movie, Captive State.
I didn't see
that movie
one.
No one saw.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm actually got to look this up because I know Goodman has lost a lot of weight in recent years.
Yeah. Is it Ozempic or is it losing alcohol?
I think it might have been losing alcohol and just kind of like, it doesn't look like he's lost a ton of weight at once. It looks like it's been more gradual.
Yeah.
Okay, it was Captive State, and then after that was a combination of voice roles and documentaries that he did while doing all his TV work.
Okay.
He's also in something called Chili Finger, which stars Judy Greer.
Huh.
It was a South by premiere this past year.
Okay, so I could go either way.
Yeah. But I'm actually kind of curious about Digger. Like, I'm not really a fan of Inarritu's movies that I've seen.
Yeah. I like the cast.
Like, that's the thing. As a Tom Cruise auteurist,
yeah,
that's what has me interested.
Yeah. It's just I don't like Inarritu's movies. I find him a very annoying director. And
Goodman's playing the president in it?
Okay, I'm locked in no matter what. I'm there day one.
Yeah, and also Jesse Plemons, Sandra Hüller, Riz Ahmed, Michael Stuhlbarg, goddamn.
Emma Darcy's in it.
Vern Gorman, one of my favorite faces.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, if it's actually like, Inarritu doing a comedy rather than a movie where
because like Birdman was meant as a comedy, like he talked about how he met with Mike Nichols to like talk about it, and he was talking about how Birdman, how he saw it as a comedy.
It's not funny.
And like Mike Nichols had invited him to lunch, and he sat down with Nichols for lunch and he was explaining how he was shooting Birdman, and apparently Mike Nichols was like, Alejandro, you are headed for disaster. And Nichols just gives a huge talk about how comedy is all in the edit. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Goodman narrated the Please Don't Destroy movie?
That movie's so bad.
I'm not surprised. He also voiced Papa Smurf in that Smurfs movie from last year that looked like it was animated in fucking Mid-Journey.
Oh god, I forgot that movie existed. Yeah, I definitely did not see that movie.
Yeah, and it's like, I think that was Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers also has that Cat in the Hat movie that's been delayed 500 times that looks like
yeah. They stopped showing trailers for that. Like,
yeah, that one also looks like it was animated in Mid-Journey.
Yeah. But like, it's crazy to get something Speed Racer that just looks so personal, looks like someone you look at it, you wonder like how the fuck did someone actually make this and make it come up with these visual ideas. But
yeah, because the color palette is so insane.
Yeah,
and
it's bright, it's colorful.
Every frame is like insanely detailed, but not in like the way like MCU wide shots are like insanely and production design are insanely detailed,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so back to the race.
Taijo's sister comes with Taijo's invitation to run the Grand Prix and said, "Hey, we checked the rules. It's legal if you go in this race."
Yeah, because Taijo wants to drop out too. He doesn't want to actually do this race. He just wants to be invited to the big party. And yeah, so then the racer family, they because previously
they have like less than 2 days to put a car together for the race, and the great like, how long did Royalton say it would take for him to build a car with his machines? 36 hours. We'll do it in 32. Yeah.
So you get a fun little montage of all the rich doing the rich stuff, and the racer family doing all their like local like
every single member
thing.
of that family is working on that damn car,
Yeah, it's a fun
including
little
the
montage.
monkey,
Including the monkey, of course. And so, so at the Grand Prix, Speed arrives and causes a big ruckus because everyone's like, "What the fuck is this guy doing here?" And
Royalton threatens to throw a bunch of money around, and Inspector Detector's there, and he's like, "If you keep him from entering the race, we'll have to shut it down and perform a full investigation." To which, of course, Royalton says, "Do you have any idea how much that would cost?"
Yeah. And then, Speed enters the race and everything. Everyone's kind of all the
Alan
puts
and Royalton puts a bounty on him
for like $1 million. So everyone wants to kill him.
$1 million
right away.
to whoever fucking kills this guy.
And there's even a comment like he might even make it out of the locker room.
Because Royalton has this racer in his corner who is meant to be like the best racer. He is like, I guess, positioned as like the sort of like Joe Montana or the sort of Barry Bonds. No, not Barry Bonds. I mean, he's alleged to have cheated, and this was 2008, so maybe this could have been seen as a Barry Bonds metaphor, though. Honestly, I feel like the hate for Barry Bonds has become like a little forced. Because like a few years ago, you had Aaron Judge on his whole fucking thing, and everyone's like, he's the real home run champ. Shut the fuck up. Aaron Judge doesn't even think that. Fucking Yankee fans, man.
Goddamn Yankees fans.
But yeah, and then the race actually starts, and the track is absolutely bonkers. Like, they have like a whole section of the track that uses the zebra zoetrope as sort of like a side view, and you look at like sort of the sidebars, and it shows the zebras looking like they're racing alongside the cars.
There's like half pipes with like spikes on them.
There's like a whole like funnel thing. It looks like a marble racetrack.
Yeah, it looks so cool. It looks fun. It looks really fun. Like, you can imagine like this would be a really fun video game level to play.
And Speed is literally racing for his life. And one of the announcers is Richard Roundtree, is the Ben Burns character who is completely in his corner. And it looks like everybody in the crowd except for Royalton is in Speed's corner, because you get a reaction shot of Taijo looking at his sister, who is sort of like playing off, I didn't give him the invitation. And he's just like smiles like, hell yeah.
And yeah, so during this race and stuff, like, he's at one point, like, the car like stutters and fails, so like he has to like listen to the car, like listen.
Yeah, this was after the Cannonball Taylor character had used an illegal part on his car.
Oh yeah, it's like a spike that like latches the two cars together.
Yeah,
so
they
they're
call it a
bouncing off
spear
everything
hook.
together.
They call it a spear hook, and he had managed to angle it so that the camera had a clear view of it, which they talk about how that's going to cost Taylor a spot in the Hall of Fame. And he just has to listen to the car to figure out what's going on, because Sparky doesn't know what's wrong, and Pops figures it out, but Sarandon's like, does Speed know that? Does Sparky know that?
and he just like sits and
then
listens
the
to his car.
Gets back into action, and Speed is going all in, and you get the same flashbacks of everyone talking with Speed and giving him like messages of inspiration as he just goes all out. You get the great scene where he drifts over the print on the racetrack, and it just like sort of like moves together like water, which is one of my favorite shots in the movie.
Gorgeous shot. Yeah.
And then Speed wins the race, and he jumps, and you see, and the checkerboard overtakes the screen like in the opening, and just he crosses the track. The car literally gives out under him, and fuck.
It's such a dessert. It's like you feel so good that he won. Like, you feel it.
It's an insane moment of catharsis, and Shakino's score is just going all out.
Yeah, and like you've been just dazzled by all the visuals. You've been wrapped up in all the emotion, and he made it at the end. He did what he's like always wanted to do and such. You get to see the whole family rise up and come up and like celebrate with him. He gets to
they do the cold milk thing like the Indy 500. Yeah,
and Sparky's really into that too, having the cold milk. And then
like like, you get Spritle in front of the lights having his moment. He gives everybody a hug, and he does the Trixie thing where he sweeps her up into a big kiss, but you get a pause and fucking Spritle and Chim Chim show up in doctor's outfits talking about it, and I will say that's maybe the one thing I would have personally asked to cut, because I feel like Spritle does get his moment in front of the cameras. You don't need him to interrupt the moment further.
Yeah.
And I say that as someone who is generally pro Spritle now. Like, seeing how much the Spritle and Chim Chim stuff worked in the movie in theaters kind of made me more pro Spritle.
Mm-hmm. One thing I do like is it really emphasized, like, oh yeah, this kiss has been building up for a long time, because like you don't see them kiss at all, and then they do have their big kiss, and it's lovely, it's great, it's cathartic, it's awesome.
And then you get the end where they're all celebrating together, and then you get some quick newspaper headlines where it's like Royalton is indicted, and you get a bit that shows that Taijo is testified against him after all. He found his courage after his sister fucking courage mogged him, or whatever the slang is.
And I love that Royalton says gets the maximum punishment for his capital crime, like cheaters never prosper.
He is in the fucking pinstriped prison outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cuts to credits, and we get Lily and Lana listed as Lily and Lana, and the monkeys doing stuff. And the song that played over the credits is, honestly, I'm not huge into it. Like, I've listened to it on its own a few times, because every once in a while I'll be in the mood for it. Because I think the act that did the song is an act that did a lot of, like, random for hire soundtrack songs.
Okay.
Like, I have the Wikipedia page pulled up. Okay, music played by Ali D and the Decompressors. Yeah, that sounds about right. They don't have Wikipedia pages, but like I think I looked into them once, and it said that they did a lot of like for hire soundtrack work, which makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And genuinely, like, I said this at the start of the podcast, but like watching this movie in theaters with an audience that was deep into it, I found it spiritually healing in a lot of ways.
I found it, like, I was like, okay, like, the Danny DeVito, like, I get it now. Like, I felt that, like, oh my god, like, this is, like, went from a movie that I did not like to a movie I am going to, like, champion for forever now. Like, it was just, like, such a nice 180 for me, and it was, like, it was great. I love when it happens. I love going back to a movie and just, like, seeing a movie for what it is, and understanding why everyone is championing it.
Yeah, this movie is so special to me. Every time I watch it, I just love it more and more. And it's fun watching other people kind of catch up to me, because there are obvious, like, I have friends who kind of bounce off the movie, but they understand why people love it. Mm-hmm. And then I have other friends who have slowly watched over time kind of come around to, like, have my opinion on the movie. And it always feels so special, and this re-release just has confirmed it. This is probably my number one movie with a bullet.
Yeah, I'm definitely buy the 4K disc for sure. Like,
yeah, it's like I don't have a 4K player, but if I did, I would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it's my final thoughts on the movie is that it is one where I think it works best if you could lock into a theater with it, because it is an assault on the senses, even by Lana Wachowski's, that was her words too, but it is, because it is so unique in what it's trying to do, and it's trying to do something pretty much new visually. It is beautiful to behold, but you have to be able to, like, let yourself be taken away by the movie, which is going to be hard to do if you're watching it with a crowd that's going to be laughing with it, because it is a very sincere movie, and it's not an ironic movie like all the Wachowski movies. So if you have any love for any Wachowski movie beyond just the first Matrix movie, absolutely go back to this one, because what makes Wachowski movies work well is all in this movie.
I can't say it any better than that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, no
sorry.
problem. And one last bit of trivia. I looked up this LED guy. I was correct. That is generally what he does. Like, he was the music producer on the first couple Alvin, the Chipmunks movies. He's done a lot of Disney Channel original movie work.
Mm-hmm.
And his aunt is Star Trek actor Nana Visitor.
Oh, cool. Yeah, she plays Kira on Deep Space Nine. She's a major character.
His whole family seems weird. Like, his dad invented covert gun holsters. He has a bunch of family who was involved in the professional dance world.
That's wild.
God, these fucking Hollywood families, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining me, Maeve, on a pretty short notice.
Yeah, he literally sent me a message on Discord like last night being like, I get it now. When can you hop on?
Yeah. Yeah, we were going to do that time, but I was partaking in 420 and would not have made for a good episode.
I mean, fair.
But
I don't have any jokes to end the episode on this time. I just want to say, please watch this movie.
Yeah, please watch Speed Racer. Yeah, so thank you all for listening. You can follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at bwishart. You can also follow MoviePod on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and YouTube. Send some mail to the mailbag at moviepodmailbag@gmail.com. Just want to send some stories in, some movie requests, recommendations, just anything movie related. I want to do a mailbag episode at some point. Next week's episode, I'm going to be joined again by MLYP, and we'll be talking about the film Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Have you seen that Manos, one? The Hands of Fate.
Yeah, Manos, The Hands of Fate. That's one where, like, of course, the MC3K is what made it famous. And it's going to be fine. I'm going to try and find a version that does not have the riffing with it.
Yeah, it's like, I know they did release like a disc of the movie on its own. So
yeah, they released a disc of the movie on its own. They made a sequel of it too with some of the original people. Like, I love that.
I cannot imagine that sequel has any of the juice.
I imagine it's absolutely unwatchable. But like, I just like love the idea that one, New Manos, because I like the idea of a movie that came out, no one saw it, getting a bizarre second life, and you can just say Manos, The Hands of Fate, and people will know exactly what you're talking about.
Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Thank you again for joining me, and thank you all for listening. Until next week, take care.